Updates on the SAE suspension. We'll bring you the latest on how the fraternity responded.
Find out why Northwestern students lined up for more than just a trim.
And the Cats are about to cheer on the Cubs. We'll take you to NU Day at Wrigley.
All those stories and more
coming up on the Northwestern News Report. It's your news right now.
Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Alex Letterman.
And I'm Anika Hennegert. Thanks for joining us.
Northwestern's chapter of Sigma Alpha Epsilon fraternity is back in the news. The university recently decided to suspend the fraternity from campus until September 2018, which meant everyone would have to move out of the SAE house by May 6th. Now, it looks like they won't have to. NNN's Andrew Merica joins us now from Studio B with more. Andrew?
That's right, Alex. The fraternity had until last Friday to appeal its suspension, and university officials have confirmed that SAE did file that appeal in time. That means during the appeal process, members will continue living in the house, likely through the end of this academic year, as long as they remain in compliance with the probation and university standards. The fraternity was placed on probation through the 2017 calendar year, after a fall 2016 investigation found members had served alcohol to minors, violating the university's disciplinary code. University spokesman Bob Rowley told NNN that SAE violated that probation by continuing to serve alcohol to minors in January 2017, which led to the hearing in April that recommended the chapter's suspension until September 2018. For now, though, pending the appeal, they're not going anywhere. Alex?
And Andrew, this suspension is unrelated to February's sexual assault allegations, correct?
That's right, Alex. Those allegations were that 4 female students had been given a date rape drug at an event at SAE, and that 2 had been sexually assaulted. The university concluded back in March that no disciplinary action would be taken against the fraternity regarding that incident. But with that case closed, it looks like this one is just getting started.
NNN's Andrew Merica reporting from Studio B. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us. We did reach out to both the Northwestern chapter of SAE and the national organization, but they both declined to comment. As always, make sure to follow NNN on Facebook and Twitter as we continue to bring you the latest on the SAE appeal as the story develops.
Northwestern students piled onto the Purple Line tonight and headed down to Wrigley Field for NU Night at Wrigley. NNN's Matt Zedun joins us live outside the park.
That's right, Anika. I can tell you that the energy out here is electric for NU Day at Wrigley. It's an annual event sponsored by Northwestern Student Alumni Alliance. Now, the Cubs are taking on the Philadelphia Phillies tonight, and the game started just a couple of minutes ago. Now, I can also tell you that each Northwestern student who purchased a ticket tonight was given a Royal Purple Northwestern t-shirt. So we do expect to see both a sea of Royal Purple and a sea of Cubby Blue for tonight's game. As you can see, this area is just bustling. The game is just very, very electric right now. And with that, we'll send it right back into you, Anika.
Thanks, Matt. We'll check back in with Matt later in the show for a score update and a special Wrigley Field version of Money Minute.
And Wildcat fans have even more reason to celebrate sports this week because, look, we've all been there. You get attached to your favorite college football player, you live their ups and downs, then poof, they're gone. But you're thrilled because you witnessed their biggest high, being picked in the NFL draft. Northwestern fans this week said goodbye to 4 of their favorites, but with smiles on their faces, because they're going pro. Now, junior linebacker Anthony Walker and senior defensive end Fadi Odenigbo are heading to Indianapolis and Minnesota, respectively. Walker was taken 161st overall in the 5th round by the Colts, and Odenigbo 201st by the Vikings in the 7th round. Walker earned All-American honors from the AP and Sports Illustrated in 2015, while Odenigbo finished his career second in program history with 23.5 sacks. And in addition, senior wide receiver Austin Carr signs an undrafted free agent contract with the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots, and linebacker Joe Jones signed with the Cowboys. We'll talk even more NFL draft with Sports Night's Miles Miller in a bit.
Northwestern's Medill School of Journalism announced on Monday it will not renew its accreditation. In an email sent to students, Medill Dean Brad Ham said, quote, "We find little value in the current version of accreditation. In making this choice, we joined the University of California at Berkeley's Graduate School of Journalism, which also has opted out in the past year." The dean reassures students the change will not affect student job or internship prospects. Because Medill is no longer accredited, students won't be eligible to participate in the prestigious Hearst Journalism Awards. Students have placed first in the competition 12 times since 1989. Northwestern University as a whole is still accredited by the Higher Learning Commission. Dean Ham did not respond to our request for comment. We'll bring you more about what this means for Medill students next week.
And coming up, we'll tell you about the new initiative that's helping students get into the loop. Stay tuned.
I'm Hyojung Kim, and coming up, we'll take a look at your 5-day weather forecast.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Good evening, I'm Hyojung Kim, and it's time for our 5-day weather forecast. Spring is finally here. We've been having a lot of spring showers recently, and it seems like we're going to have some more. It won't be rainy tomorrow, but it will be cloudy with a high of 56 degrees and a low of 42. Thursday is another rainy day with, again, a high of 56 and a low of 42, the same as Wednesday. No rain expected for Friday, but we will see a cloudy and windy day with a high of 53 and a low of 40. We have another rainy day coming up on Saturday with a high of 56 and a low of 40. Sun will finally come up on Sunday, but temperatures will stay similar with a high of 57 and a low of 43. Overall, it might be a wise strategy to carry an umbrella throughout the week and enjoy the arrival of spring. This has been Hyojung Kim with your 5-day weather forecast.
As the weather warms up, more students will be out and about in Evanston and Chicago. And now, with the help of Associated Student Government and Northwestern Center for Civic Engagement, students can travel on CTA trains and buses for free. The Center for Civic Engagement and ASG are partnering to help students enjoy all Chicago has to offer this spring. The initiative is designed to help students take advantage of the city without being held back by cost. Students can request round-trip CTA passes to participate in city excursions like museum visits or neighborhood explorations. Students can request passes once a week for a maximum of 10 weeks throughout the spring quarter. You can visit engage.northwestern.edu/CTA to fill out a form for your free round-trip pass.
We want to know where you would go with your free CTA pass, so we asked you in this week's edition of Rock Talk.
Hello, Northwestern. My name is Aaron Lewis, and I'm here at The Rock to find out where you would go with a free CTA pass. If you had a free ride to Chicago right now, where would you go?
I really love Millennium Park.
Navy Pier. Right now, I would go to Maggie Daly Park because it's really cute there, and I like walking outside.
It's a beautiful place with a ton of cool stuff to do.
Do you know Jazz Showcase? It's a jazz club.
And the Bean is it's a beautiful sight. You know, every time I take that classic picture, put my feet up on the Bean, smile, and it's like it's two of me. It's wild.
I would go to Furious Spoon Ramen. a ramen store in Chicago, I think.
Why would you go to Navy Pier? What's down there for you?
I like the Ferris wheel thing.
If you have an idea for a future Rock Talk topic, tweet at us at @NNN_news.
We've all heard of baseball scouts using big data to find the best players. Now the Cubs and other sports teams are using big data on you, the ticket purchaser. We'll explain that more in Money Minute.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
I'm Matt Stunn. In this special Wrigley edition of Money Minute, some Chicago sports teams are playing small ball with big data. Over the past couple of years, the Chicago Cubs have teamed up with StubHub to gather information about their consumers. They want to know exactly how much consumers are willing to pay. This economic principle is called dynamic pricing, and it's widely used in many industries. But here, the economics is relatively simple. The Cubs want to maximize their profits, and this also helps all of us as well. When the Cubs are considering raising their prices, they don't have to do it all across the board. Instead, they can consider different price tiers and charge different prices for different types of consumers. Now, the Cubs are doing that more than ever. Since 2012, the Cubs added 5 new pricing tiers to their model. That brings the total up to 22 for this season. This year, the Cubs drastically raised the price of about 700 seats behind home plate. If you want one of those seats, it'll set you back about $700, but you will be able to enjoy padded seating and an underground club coming next year. Now, dynamic pricing does come with some risks. Adding too many different price points can confuse consumers and actually drive down profits. But we do know that other Chicago teams are following the lead of the Cubs. The Bulls went from 11 price tiers 4 years ago to 15 this year, and the Bears now have 34 price points. Outside of Wrigley, I'm Matt Stunn with Money Minute.
Northwestern's oldest theatrical tradition, the WAMU Show, returns to Kahn Auditorium with a musical about superheroes. NNN's Hyojung Kim goes behind the scenes and brings us the story of the unsung heroes of WAMU.
Northwestern's famous WAMU Show launched its annual original musical, Beyond Belief, this week. Beyond Belief tells the story of everyday superheroes. It shows how the power of love makes everyone super. While the characters are super and the audiences are large, the stage crew is the smallest in WAMU history.
There are only 2 of us.
Of the more than 150 students involved in creating the show, from writers and actors, only 2 offered to help out behind the scenes. One of the 2 stage crew members, Adam Stovsky, says that the job can be difficult.
There was one point where I was just expected to bring a bed on, it's a big bench, but we dress it up like a bed, and I was just supposed to pick it up and carry it on stage, and I'm just not that strong.
Assistant stage manager Virginia Arguelles echoes the challenges of having such small crew, especially because of this year's story. Some actors change into superhero costumes in only 40 seconds.
We can do it because we're smart and we're capable and we've employed a lot of the actors, but at the same time there's just that level of stress of only having 2 people for stage crew, only having 3 girls for costume crew, and doing a bunch of quick changes, and this is a really big show.
Arguelles says the WAMU crew is running a great show with impressive teamwork among actors, stage crew, and other crew members.
We've made it work. We got it. There's been some tears, blood, sweat, but that's fine.
Even with 2 crew members, the show must go on. The WAMU show runs through May 7th, and they are still looking for more crew members. Hyojang Kim, Northwestern News Report.
This week, WAMU will host a variety of community engagement events, including WeMu, a musical theater workshop, and an American Sign Language and sensory-friendly performance.
Some other heroes on campus this week were putting on a different kind of cape, a hair-cutting cape. The Wildcat Room in Norris was turned into a pop-up barbershop Saturday to give some unconventional haircuts. NNN's Isabel Lawrence was there.
Around 50 Northwestern students were put in the hot seat and faced with the question of the day: to shave or not to shave. Brave volunteers caped up and cut down in an effort to support St. Baldrick's, a foundation that raises money for childhood cancer research. While some students sat down with trepidation, event chair Brian Liu was no stranger to the shave.
So this is going to be my 11th time shaving. So I first got involved when I was 10.
Liu started the Northwestern chapter of St. Baldrick's just last year. This year, he aimed high, hoping to increase registration and raise fundraising goals.
About double the participants already, 50 registered shavees. And then I believe we already crossed $18,000 this year, so almost double where we were last year.
In addition to social media pushes, the St. Baldrick's Executive Board had a unique way of raising the nearly $20,000. Nick Nelson changed his hairstyle each time he received a donation.
I bleached it and then I dyed it like green because St. Baldrick's colors are kind of green. I dyed it purple. Tuesday I had a mohawk. Wednesday I did an inverted mohawk, so I shaved just down the middle. Yesterday I made that into an arrow and my friend painted it. And today I'm doing the what I'm calling the old man.
Another big change, the location. The event was supposed to move from last year's Seabury Hall to the Norris Lawn, but due to weather, it was held indoors.
Even though we are inside, the move to Norris is definitely a big one for us because it's somewhere that people just will be and will pass by.
It seemed no one was just passing by as students and parents stopped in to cheer on their friends.
I wasn't thinking too much about my own experience with them shaving the head, but more everyone else in front of me.
This event goes to show what students can accomplish when we put our heads together. From Evanston, Isabel Lawrence, Northwestern News Report.
In total, the group shaved around 47 heads to raise a grand total of $20,400.
If your furry friend decides to run away, don't panic. The Evanston Animal Shelter has an easy way to find your pet. That was the sound of a successful microchip scan of Angus the cat. The Evanston Animal Shelter is holding a free microchipping clinic on Saturday, May 13th. A microchip is a small computer chip the size of a grain of rice. It is inserted between the pet's shoulder blades in a quick and painless procedure. A lost pet can be scanned for a chip, allowing animal shelters to reunite owners to their pets. Evanston residents with unchipped cats or dogs are eligible for the procedure. Volunteer Gabby Gutierrez says owners shouldn't think twice about the procedure.
1 in 3 family pets will get lost during its lifetime. Without a microchip, around 90% will not return home. The microchip can mean the difference between being reunited with your beloved pet or perhaps never seeing him or her again.
And even more cats after the break. We'll check in with Wildcat Lacrosse.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Northwestern football player Xavier Washington was arrested Sunday by the Evanston Police Department. The arrest came after officers stopped Washington and found him in possession of 0.5 grams of cocaine, according to the Daily. According to a university spokesman, the arrest was made at an off-campus location. The university is still investigating the matter, and Washington has been suspended indefinitely from the Northwestern football team. And now turning back to the good news about our 2 Northwestern football players who were drafted this past week. We have Miles Miller here to break it down. Miles, what's your reaction to Anthony Walker and Fadi Odenigbo being taken?
Well, Anika, those who followed the team going into the draft knew that of all the players that were prospects for Northwestern, these were the 2 most likely to be selected in the draft. Anthony Walker being selected in the 5th round was a bit of a surprise. Many thought that he would go a few rounds earlier, but he ended up falling all the way to the Indianapolis Colts at pick 161. As far as Odenigbo goes, general manager of the Minnesota Vikings, Rick Spielman, talked about his selection to the team in the 7th round, and he made it clear that Fadi only has one job on the team, and that is to rush the passer. Fadi is second all-time in Northwestern in sacks. He also led the Big Ten in sacks this past season, so he has the ability to get to the quarterback, and that's what the Vikings want him to do.
And Miles, 2 more Northwestern players signed as undrafted free agents. That's Austin Carr and Joe Jones. What are we expecting coming from them?
Yeah, many feel that Austin Carr signing with the Patriots is a perfect fit. The Patriots love Carr's work ethic, and his skill set fits that of other wide receivers who were successful with the team, like Wes Welker and Julian Edelman. And for Joe Jones, Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones said before the draft that the team needed some, quote, war daddies on the defensive side of the field. And Joe Jones can certainly be one of those for the Cowboys. So look out for big things from both of these guys coming into the league. The lacrosse team faced its toughest challenge of the season as they welcomed number 1 ranked Maryland Terrapins to Lanny and Sharon Martin Stadium. It was the final regular season game for the Cats. A win would give them a share of the Big Ten regular season title along with Maryland. Could the Cats pull it out? Let's roll the highlights. We begin in the second half. After a slow first half, the Cats started off the second half with a bang. Shelby Fredericks fakes out a defender with some great cutting before tossing the ball to Nicole Beardsley, who puts one past the Terrapins keeper. Cats trail 9-5. Maryland continued to put on offensive pressure on the Cats defense as Taylor Hench beats her defender, takes it to the goal. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, and puts it in the back of the net as she's falling down. Maryland up big, 14-5. The Cats wouldn't go down without a fight, however, as Christina Esposito charges toward the goal. And which way? That way. She scores with a sweet backhand shot to cut Maryland's lead to 8. Danita Stroop catches and fires to put one away for the Cats, but sadly it wasn't enough as the Terrapins beat the Wildcats by a score of 18-9. The Cats' next bout will come Friday against Penn State in the Big Ten Tournament semifinals in College Park, Maryland. The great poet Beyonce once said, "If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it." Well, that's what Northwestern did with Chris Collins and Pat Fitzgerald. Both coaches received lengthy contract extensions from the university. Katie Wingy has more.
It was an announcement surely worth millions here at the Under Armour brand house, where Northwestern rewarded 2 of its head coaches for their success both on the field and the court. Both agreed to long-term contract extensions, so it looks like they will be sticking around Evanston and for quite some time.
Henry Kissinger once said that the task of the leader is to get his people from where they are to where they have not been. It's safe to say both of these men have accomplished that.
For football coach Pat Fitzgerald, his contract has been extended through the 2026 season, a decade tacked onto his current Cats coaching career. And for basketball coach Chris Collins, his new deal will run through 2025.
It was never about being here to go somewhere else. I came to Northwestern to be the Northwestern coach for a long time.
When there's a great fit, it just works. And, Coach Barnett sold me on that as a student athlete. We're very fortunate as a family to have this type of commitment to our family, but more importantly, like I said, this is a program commitment. This is a commitment to a championship.
A Northwestern graduate himself, Fitzgerald is the winningest football coach in school history. The past 2 years, he's led his team to a 17-9 record alongside consecutive bowl trips.
You think over the time where it's gone from where I've been as a student athlete to where it is right now, it makes me think of Mr. Ryan and his family too.
I always wanted to have the opportunity to coach at a place that I could call home. and fit is so important and on every level. Jim touched on it, Fitz just touched on it. The Northwestern is a fit for me.
Collins grew up in close by Northbrook and this year made history with his team, including the school's first NCAA tournament appearance with a first-round win. Collins is 73-60 throughout his 4 years so far with the Cats.
Both of these men took something of a leap of faith with the Northwestern family, and the university did the same with them. Those leaps have paid off exponentially for all involved.
Fitzgerald and Collins are both credited with turning around their programs and establishing a winning culture here at Northwestern, and that's something the athletic department clearly sees as a worthy investment. Reporting on Michigan Avenue, I'm Katie Winchie.
Lots to look forward to from both of those coaches and teams, and Northwestern fans are surely ready for more winning seasons to come.
And coming up, we'll show you a neat new trend that women are raising their glasses to.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
We've all heard there are two kinds of women, red wine drinkers and white wine drinkers. But what about whiskey drinkers? Our Fallon Gallagher got a taste of the whiskey women trend.
When you take a sip of it, you don't want to do the geeky wine thing where we slurp across the palate. What that does is release alcohol. Potent.
Whiskey has been considered kind of a boys' club, and not just a boys' club, an old boys' club.
But these women haven't just joined the club, they've actually formed their own. They call themselves the Bourbon Women and have branches across the country.
A lot of people that really carried whiskey throughout, generations have actually been women. So it's really fun and empowering not only to tell their stories, but I think when women hear those stories, they're encouraged to come to us and kind of stick with us as a group.
In the past, it seems like there are typically two types of drinkers, men and women, with men typically drinking things like whiskey and bourbon. In the early 1990s, only 15% of women drank things like whiskey, but that number's climbing. Now, it's almost 37%.
It's just really interesting.
So why are more women drinking whiskey? Perhaps it's the taste.
A lot more dense, dark, vegetal, maybe a little earthy, a little spicy.
Or the history.
Women had to be the gatherers. We had to be able to nose, smell, taste more things, poison, bitterness.
But many of these young professional women think it's something bigger.
Saying, no, I'll have this bourbon neat, or I'll have this scotch on the rocks, adds a real air of sophistication, makes it seem like you're the kind of woman that knows what she wants.
Whatever the reason, women are lining up for a taste.
I think I appreciate a more complex drinking experience.
I can just relax and sip this bourbon and just be done with the day with a tasty little additive.
So when it comes to whiskey, it seems that the future is female. Fallon Gallagher, Northwestern News Report.
The club will meet again on May 6th to celebrate the Kentucky Derby with some bourbon.
And that's all the time we have for tonight. I'm Alex Letterman.
I'm Miles Miller for sports.
And I'm Anika Henniger. Thanks for joining us.